Gandhi cross
I'm extremely sorry for the late, and my antivirus got renewed and my net was not working. I connected with the mobile data. So little bit delayed today in my video display. So I'm not using my video today. Everyone can able to hear my voice, right?
Yes, we can hear you,
Yes, yes.
Monica.
Yeah. We'll start right away. Just give me a second. Let me share the PPT first. Yeah. Let's start with the prayer. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, palms together. Seek the blessing from the God's goddess and all your goods. As you feel more done, slowly open your eyes. And suppose in case if my connection got disconnected, don't worry, I will reconnect again. Everyone can see the screen as well as you can hear my voice, right?
Yes, Monica.
Okay. We'll finish the revision today. The continuation of the last week. This week we are going to start with the Shatbala division. The Shatbala will shows you the strength and the significance of all your grahas in your horoscope. So when you are seeing the horoscope, there are the various options, various probabilities you have to find out whether this graha is in a strength, whether this graha is in a good strength or in a bad strength, or it shows the weakness or not. How you can find that? The Shatbala is the answer for you. So there are 6 components in the Shatbala. One is the Sthana Bala, that is the positional strength. Dikbala, directional strength. Kala Bala, Jeshta Bala, this will give you when the planet has got retrograde, the motional strength that will gives you whether that retrograde planet is in the strengthened position or in the weakening position. And the natural strength means the Naisargika Bala, whether it is having a good relationship with the other grahas or not. The Drik is the aspect, whether the graha in your horoscope aspecting the other grahas give you the good or bad. So this all the 6 components in the Shatbala. The first thing in the Sthana Bala, again it was having the 5 subdivision, 5 subsets. One is starting with the Ucha Bala, where in your horoscope, whether you have the exalted planets, then that gives you the Ucha Bala. Then everybody knows, right? The 9 grahas where it will get 7 grahas where it will get exalted. Let's start with the quiz with the class. Sun exalted in which Rashi? No.
Mesha.
Mesha. Sun exalted in which Rashi? Sunny exalted in which Rashi?
Shani is Tula.
Sunny, where it is?
Tula.
Tula. So you have to understand one basic thing. When there was a 9 grahas, 9 grahas were there, you have to understand which are the owners of the house. And the exalted position, exalted house, debilitated house. This thing, it have to be in your mind all the time. Then the Sapta Varjaka Bala, it's a combination of the different different divisional charts. All together, they combine and they find the solution. And the Oju Ukma Rashi Amsha Bala means there are the 12 Rashis, right? Odd numbers, even numbers going to give you the different kind of a strength when the graha was placed in the odd number Rashi, when the graha was placed in the even number Rashi. For example, if we know about the grahas who are male, who are female, and one graha is the neuter, that is the Venus. So the male graha is the Surya, Mars, Angal, and the Sun is also sometimes considered as the eunuch, but it have to be considered as the male in this criteria, except in not the simplest way you can remember, except the Venus and the Moon, other planets considered as the male, and exclude the Mercury as well. Mercury is the neuter in nature. So the Kendra Bala means 1, 4, 7, 10 is the Kendra. If the Graha placed in the 1, 4, 7, 10, their auspiciousness will going to increase. Drekana means one Rashi will consist of the 30 degree, and every 30 degrees is divided into 10 degrees. If the Graha was placed in the first 10 degree, then if the Graha is a male Graha, that will give you the most strength. If the second is for female, second 10 degrees for, give me a second. I thought I disabled the, give me a second. Yeah. The third 10 degrees for the neuter. So let's move into the another one. The,
Nikki's okay.
what is that?
I did load it.
Okay, it's not for me, I guess. Okay, let's come into the Digbala. When the planet was placed in the specific houses, then that gives you the Digbala. For example, if the Jupiter and the Mercury placed in the first house, that will give you the Digbala. That means first house means it was the sun rises in the east. The first house is nothing but your lagna. That means when you are born, that is the eastern horizon according to the horoscope. That is the moment, that is the eastern horizon for the Jataka. So the first house, if you have the Jupiter or the Mercury, then that is giving a tremendous Digbala to the Jataka. And the fourth house is exact opposite. When the sun rises, in the opposite is when the sun is opposite night. Moon and the Venus. This get the tremendous strength when it was in the night time. That is the fourth house. Seventh house when the sun sets. That is the Saturn. 10th house is a mid-heaven, it's the sun or the Mars. That is the mid-heaven means it's like 10th house. So that will give you the Digbala. Then when it comes into the Kalabala, again it's having the 6 subsets. The Natonata Bala, Paksha Bala, Tribhanga Bala, Varshamasha, Dinahora Bala. So every Bala will contain the defined meaning when it was when the graha was placed accordingly. For example, if the moon was when the Jataka was born at the time of the full moon time, that means it was in the Shukla Paksha, then the moon will give you the tremendous strength too. When the Jataka was born on the Krishna Paksha, that means in the moon is going towards the new moon, that it was reducing its energy level. That means it is going to give you the different bala to the Jataka. Okay, that is the 6 subsets of the Kala Bala. We'll quickly go through the other one. Varsha Vasha Dina Hora Bala means which verse, okay, every year having the different kind of an energy. In according to the astrology, the years are classified as the 60 divisions. So every year having the specific energy based on the Graha's position. every month is also having the different energy level. Dina and the Hora. For example, when today is a Sunday. Sunday is the sun, the first ray of the Graha's first ray is coming from the sun. The next day, Monday, is for the moon. The first ray of day starts with the moon's energy. So every day, one planet occupies or dominates the energy level. When comes for the Tuesday, Mars level is highly increased. That's why if you noticed on yourself, particularly on one day, whatever you do, you will get benefit. No matter what happened in the universe, but you will get benefit on particular day one day. Notice that day and see the Panjang also on that day. Because there is a difference. The same day may not be work on a next month also. But particularly on one day, whatever you do, that will be give you tremendous benefit. That depends on what Tithi you are doing, what Karna you are doing, what yoga you are doing. So there are many things involved in it. But on your experience, just for a fun, notice whenever you get succeed in anything, whenever you are happy, note that day and make a list of the days. And whenever you find time, go through the Panjang and find the similarities of these days. That will give you the one best day for you. Okay, then we'll go into the retrograde. Retrograde means when the planet was, usually the planets moves forward, but there was one point in time, it goes backward. Actually, it was not goes backward, but it feels that it was going backward. Why that was the case? Because when the planets are revolved around orbit, and it was comes near, it shows that it was going backward. So the retrograde planets, it considered as that planet energy was too much at that time. The retrograde planet, what it will do, it will goes backward. It's not exactly going backward. The motion looks like it's going backward because it was nearer to the Earth. So when it was comes backward, it will stay for constantly. It will stay there for a few days. Then it moves backward. When it was returning to the normal position, it's again stay there for constantly for a few more days. Every planet, the constant days is also different. Please come back to the normal route. So that is the planet appears to be go backward, Remember that word, appears to go backward. That is called as a retrograde. In the Navagrahas, the 4 grahas, there was no retrogradation. One is the Sun, Moon, and the Rahu and Ketu. Why there was no retrograde? Because the Rahu and Ketu already it will be in the retrograde motion. And the retrograde grahas, when come to Mercury and the Venus, often gets retrograde comparatively with the Varsha grahas, that is the Mars, Jupiter, and the Saturn. Mercury and the Venus retrograde oftenly. These planets are considered as the Mars, Venus, and the Sun. They always move towards very closely. When you see in the horoscope, the Mercury and the Venus from the Sun, it won't go 2 rashis behind. It will be between the 2 rashis in the front or 2 rashis in the back only. And the Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are retrograde. Sometimes in a year, all the 3 can be retrograde, or sometimes 2 grahas can also be retrograde. Okay, let's go into the retrograde effects. What the retrograde planets will do. Retrograde means that particular graha, it comes closer to the Earth planet where you are living. So that means the graha gets more strength. These peoples becomes, their energy level becomes abundant in them. So that's why they show their stubbornness, they show their adamant, because the energy is really high. They want to show that they want to exhibit their energy. And that is the time they have the desire, they can achieve anything in the world, because that kind of the tremendous tremendous energy flows through them. Okay, then goes into the exalted and debilitated planets. Okay, when it has becomes a exaltation means when exalted graha retrograde, it becomes the average auspiciousness only. When the debilitated graha retrograde, the debilitation is removed. But again, it gives you the average auspiciousness only. What is it meaning? It won't give you too much good. It won't give you too much bad. Okay, let's move on to the important one here. The 12th house to every house. So we have the 12 houses starting from the Lagna to 1, 2, 3 till 12 houses. So for example, the first house, 12th house is it will give you the bad effect. The 12th house will give you the bad effect to the first house. Every 12 house will cancel the effect of the next house. For example, the second house, 12th house is the first house. So whatever the things which you can achieve from this house, it will be eliminated by the first house. It goes on like this only. So for example, in the ninth house is your effortless. The 10th house, you have to put the too much effort. So that's why it was coming as a circle. So this one, it is for our knowledge only. If you didn't understand this part, don't worry. On the way, when we are going practice more and more, you will understand this part. Okay. The nice Bala, every planet has a natural tendency to become more or less predominant. But here, the sun is the predominant one, and followed by the moon, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and the Saturn. Okay, how this order is based? This order is based on the natural brightness and the visibility to the earth. So based on that, this order was formed. Let's come into the Drigbala. The Drigbala calculates the strength of the planet by adding up the supportive and the harmful effects of the planets. That gives an aspect. It's nothing but when aspect of the malefic weaken the planet, aspect of the benefic strengthen the planet. That's why I always said when the Jupiter was aspecting any other graha or any other houses, it will give you the auspiciousness in a very high momentum. But when the malefic graha aspecting any other grahas, it will lessen the effect of the benefit of that particular houses. So when come into the Shadbala, this is the combination of all the things. So this is the end of the Shadbala here. Mostly when this is what are the values you have to be considered for the 7 grahas. This one you no need to remember. You just use the software for this purpose. Okay, it's coming into the fixed relationship. Okay, then you have the question. So if the grahas was having a fixed relationship, there is also the temporary relationship. Yes, there is. The temporary relationship I didn't even discuss with you because I thought it may be over confused. There is a fixed relation. There is a temporary relation. The temporary relations will see in upcoming lessons. That is also give you the different perspective when you see the horoscope. Sometimes when you see the graha was aspected by the malefic, but the surrounding planets will give you the energy in a good level. That's why it becomes auspicious. You may say one thing because the malefic planet was seeing this graha, so this houses was having a demerit, then you will say something. But the particular graha was surrounded by the good benefic grahas, the entire perspective was different. So that is the totally entirely different story. We are not including at this point. Now consider only the fixed relationship now, the permanent relationship. Sun always friend with the moon, Mars, and the Jupiter. We know how it will be. You remember the story? Sun is the king, moon is the queen, Mercury is the young prince, Mars is the commander of the chief, Jupiter is the finance minister, and the Venus is the entertainment minister, and the Saturn is the worker. So remember this point when you are remembering this chart. This is also have to be in your fixed in your mind all the time. Sun always friends with the moon, Mars, and the Jupiter because the sun cannot be live without the queen, without the commander in the chief, without his guru. So these 3 peoples are the friends to him. Even though Mercury is the prince, but he have to be maintain the neutrality. Enemies, obviously, Saturn and Sun and the Saturn, they don't like each other. So obviously, Saturn comes into the picture. Venus is the Asura Guru. he is also comes into as the enemy. He is also considered as the enemy to Sun. And comes into the Moon. Sun and the Mercury considered as the friend. Moon is the motherly nature. He won't show the enmity to any of the grahas. So it's considered as other grahas as the neutral. Mars, same thing. Sun, Moon, and the Jupiter. Neutral is the Venus and the Saturn. Enemy is the Mercury. Mercury, little bit different. Sun and the Venus considered as the friends. Neutral, Mars, Jupiter, and the Saturn. Moon is an enemy. Here you have to consider. Moon is not considered Mercury as an enemy. We consider Mercury as a friend. But Mercury considered as Moon as an enemy. Jupiter, Sun, Moon, and the Mars as a friend. Saturn is neutral. And the enemies is the Mercury and the Venus. Venus, Mercury, and the Saturn. So how you can easily remember this? Mercury, Saturn, and the Venus forms one group. Sun, Moon, Mars, Jupiter forms another group. Mars and the Jupiter, neutral. For Venus, Venus, enemies of the Sun and the Moon. Saturn again, Mercury and the Venus friend. Jupiter is the neutral. And the enemies of the Sun, Moon, and the Mars. Till now, anybody have doubt? Any questions? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, great. Just coming into the Yoga Karaka. Yoga Karaka means the one planet which is the planet which is the lord of the Kendra, as the same planet have to be as the Trikona house. This is the rule. When this was happening, that considered as the Yoga Karaka. Same time, one important thing here you have to be noted. Every ascendant doesn't have a Yoga Karaka plan. That is also we are going to see in the next table. So what is this going to give you? When you have the Yoga Karaka in your horoscope, that will give you the good results in your position, in your power, money, and influence. Whatever the good aspect in your life, that will be increased. Let's see.
Vanita, sorry for the interruption. Will you be giving us all these slides?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, that's coming into the Yoga Karaka. Yoga Karaka means one planet have to be in the Trikona house, one planet have to be in the Kendra house. So we know that what is a Trikona house? Dharma Trikona. 1, 5, and 9. There are the other Trikonas, but we are only considering Dharma Trikona. That is the Trikona for the self, Trikona for the Jataka. 1, 5, and the 9. And the Kendra houses 1, 4, 7, 10. So the Lord have to be in the Trikona house. The same Lord have to be in the Kendra house. That's a rule. Let's go with one ascendant. Follow the same principle to the other also. So this all the only ascendants can have the Yoga Karaka. What is that? Rishabha, Kadaka, Simha, Tula, Makara, and the Kumbha. This ascendant can only have the Yoga Karaka. So the Graha is also mentioned. If the Taurus Graha is a Saturn, 9th is the Capricorn. If you see that, the Lord of the house is the 9th is the Capricorn, 10th is the Aquarius. So 9th is the Trikona, 10th is the Aquarius. So apply the same principle to this other lines also. You will find that these ascendant can have the Yoga Karaka possible. That's going into the Bhatak. Okay, here is an interesting point. Whenever you see the horoscope, there are the few steps you have to follow. One is find ask them the time of the birth, date of the birth, place of the birth. So once you retrieve this information, you put it in any of the astrology software, then you find out the chart. The next thing, what you have to do? Next thing, ask whoever you are seeing the horoscope for them. Ask them, is this the correct chart or not? Okay, why you need to ask them? Because sometimes the software can also do the mistake, or sometimes you may also do the mistake. Sometimes they said it is 14:58 PM or AM, you put some mistake in there. So make sure whatever the horoscope you are seeing, that should be the exact one the opposite party is also referring. So whenever you see the horoscope, first 3 things you have to get from them: date, time, place of birth. Additionally, ask the male or the female. This is very important. Most of the mistakes will happen. They won't ask the gender. First, once you retrieve this information, confirm the chart, then confirm if the other the people who understand about the astrology, ask them also dasha buddhi also. If everything was matches, then go to the next step. What is the next step you will do? What is the lagna? What is the rashi? Where the sun was placed. So once you define this point, the next thing is have the Kochara chart next to you. Okay, we'll see that in the practical session today itself. We will understand what are the steps you have to follow. Okay, now let's come into the revision. Batakstan. Batakstan means every lagna will have one, every rashi will have the Batakstan for them. Why? That is the house of the obstacles. Whatever the things you are going to do in your life, there will be some obstacles, particularly one house for every rashi. For the Chararasi means Mesha, Kadaga, Tula, Makara. This all the Chararasi. How you can easily remember? Remember the 1, 4, 7, 10. That is the Chararasi. Sthirarasi is the 2, 5, 8, and 11. Rishabha, Simha, Vrikshika, and the Kumbha. Ubhayarasi, that is the corner houses, 3, 6, 9, and 12. Mithuna, Kanya, Dhanu, and Meena. So for the Chararasi, 11th house becomes the house of obstacle. For the Sthirarasi, 9th house becomes the obstacle. For the Ubhayarasi, 7th house becomes the obstacle. So this is also you have to keep that in mind. Well, coming into next one. Okay, let's see them in the lagna wise. If the Mesha lagna, 11th house becomes the house of obstacle. Lord of the obstacle is the Saturn. So if you are born in the Mesha lagna, then the Kumbha Rasi becomes your house of obstacle. Who's the Lord? Saturn is the Lord. Rishabha, 9th house. Why? It's Sthira Rasi. Makara. Makara is the house of your obstacle. Who's the Lord? Saturn. If you're born on the Mithuna lagna, 7th house is the Batakstan. Who's the Rashi is the Dhanu Rashi. Who's the Lord? Jupiter. Kadaka, 11th house. Why Kadaka is the 11th house? Kadaka Rasi is the Chara Rasi. Then Rishabha becomes the 11th house. So that becomes the house of obstacles. Venus is the Lord. Simha Rasi. If you born under Simha Rasi, against Sthira Rasi, that is why it is the 9th house. Mesha, Mars is the Lord. Kanya, 7th house. Meena, Jupiter is the Lord. Tula, 11th house. Simha, Sun is the Lord. Vrikshika, 9th house again. Karka, Moon is the Lord. You have any doubt on this chart? This table particularly?
Bit go slow.
Oh, okay. We'll have this example of this chart. Okay, don't worry. The Batakstan, anyway, we are going to in the chart when you are revising. I will tell you which one it is. Okay. I will move on from here. Remember the Batakstan will have a revision also. Don't worry. When you're seeing about the Maranakaraka means every graha have one particular house as the Maranakaraka. So what does that mean? That particular house in your birth chart, it becomes weak particularly, and it can challenge you in every aspect of your life. It won't give you the death, but it will give you that kind of the pain in your life. The Maranakaraka means you don't believe it is going to give you the death. No, it won't give you the death. It will give you the pain that much equivalent to your death. Okay. If you are having the sun in the 12th house, that is the Maranakaraka. Sun is in the Maranakaraka. If your moon is in your 8th house, then the moon is in the Maranakaraka sthana. Mars is in the 7th house, that is in the Maranakaraka sthana. Mercury 4th house, Jupiter 3rd house, Venus 6th house, Saturn 1st house. Ketu, Rahu, Ketu is the 4th house, Rahu is the 9th house. If this one was placed
Manita,
This is from Lagna. We are calculation from Lagna.
Yes, yes. This is from the Lagna.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Consider, imagine a chart. Okay. The Lagna is the Thula Lagna. And in the Meena, I have the sun. If the sun is in the Marana Karagasthana or no? Okay. Okay, don't worry. I will tell you in an example. I will move on from here. Definitely we will see as a revision in the exam. Okay, let's see the combustion. Then we will see the number of examples. Then we can easily understand whatever the portion we gone through. Okay, the combustion is the thing when the planets comes near to the sun. When there was a sun, what it will do? Sun has a tremendous of the energy. When other grahas comes close to it, it will destroys the other grahas energy. Even the Saturn is also combust when it comes close to the sun. So how much closer it have to be? That you have to be considered in the table. If the moon in the forward motion 0 to 12 degree, it was close to the sun. That means the sun was in the 5th degree. Then the moon is in the 7th degree, means moon has become combusted because the sun and the moon was very close to each other. Sun exhibit more energy, moon energy will be destroyed easily. Then the Mercury is a 0 to 14 degree. If in the sun was in the 13 degree, Mercury was in the 14 degree, means job done. It's already combusted. Venus 0 to 10 degree. But the Mercury and Venus have a special property, but in the retrograde motion, 0 to 12 degree for Mercury. For Venus, it was 0 to 8 degree. Mars 0 to 17 degree, whether it is in a forward or in a retrograde. Jupiter 0 to 11. Saturn 0 to 15. Then you will end up on one question. I can't remember this table. Don't worry. Nowadays, all the software will give you whether that planet is combust or. This is for your knowledge only. How you can understand the graha is combusted or not. But that will give you in the most of the softwares, it will represent in the star mark or in the cap symbol. Some one way or the other, it will tell you this graha is combust in your Jataka. So don't worry about this. You no need to remember. This is for your knowledge. Okay. Now let's see the number of examples. So you can
what is the outcome of combustion? What will happen?
What will happen? When the combustion was happened, when the sun was absorbs the other grahas energy. So considered an approximately, the moon is going, now leave the sun, okay, for a moment. The moon is going to give you 50% of its auspiciousness to you, okay? That is the grahavasi, that is the position of the moon in your chart. It will going to give you 50% of the auspiciousness in you.
Oh.
When the sun was, now we'll take the sun into the picture. Now the sun combust the moon. What that means? 50% of the auspiciousness from the moon, it's gone.
Oh,
Not
okay.
from the sun. From the moon, it was gone. So when you are seeing the horoscope, you have to eliminate that auspiciousness. Then you have to be analyzed in such a way that seeing from the sun moon, the moon characteristic moon significance will be tremendously reduced when the combustion was happened. It's applied to other grahas also.
Okay.
Particularly, you can see that in effect when the Kocharam and your this sorry, not in the Kocharam. The Kocharam has a different story. But when your Dasabudhi was happening, and this graha is also combust in your Jataka, you can see that in your real time. It will show you in a greater effect. Okay. We will see the examples now. Give me a second. Let me. I stop the chatting now. Give me a second. Okay, go to Jagannath. days only. Okay, now this is the time. You have the time and the place of the birth. Okay. Now imagine everybody can see the Jagannath Hora, right? Yes or no? No? Yes?
Yes, Vani.
Okay, now you have the date and time. First thing, you find out the date is the today, considered the child was born just now, June 16, 2024. So we receive that. The time of the birth is 5:38 a.m. and the time zone, don't worry about that. The place of the birth, these all the three information you have to retrieve from the person. So once you have this in your hand, check with them as the male or the female. Considered as the male child. So now you have all the information in your hand. So now you go through here. What are the first main things you have to see? First point, you have to see which lagna it is. Which lagna the child was born?
It is in
Mithuna.
Mithuna.
Mithuna lagna. So once you understand this lagna is the with the other color. Oh, sorry. Okay. Mind. The first thing you have to understand what is the lagna. Here.
Lagna.
So we understand that is the Mithuna lagna. Then the second point you have to understand, in this lagna, any other graha was there? Graha was there? Yes or no?
It is there.
Okay. Then note down that graha also. There are the three grahas present in the lagna itself. What is that? Sun, Mercury, and the Venus.
Venus.
So in addition to that, what you have to do, once the graha was present, you have to see which is the sun's house. Which is the sun's house?
It is this Leo, no? In Simha.
This is the third house for the ascent for this Jataka, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Then you have to see the Mercury. The Mercury was in this ascendant, our ascendant is the Mithuna. The owner is also present in the same house. Yes or no?
Yes.
And you have the one more house. Which one it is?
Fourth.
That is the
That
fourth
is Venus house.
Venus.
Kanya Rasi, Venus house.
So now you understand the sun is the third house for this Jataka. There was no graha in it. Mercury is the owner of the ascendant, that is a Lagnadipati, and he's also owner of the fourth house. So we have to understand one more point here. In the fourth house, two graha present in it. One is the Ketu and the Moon. So we are. Then we have to see the Venus. Venus is the owner of which houses?
Seventh and
Which Rashi?
Tula and
Tula.
Vrishaba.
Tula.
Tula and Vrishaba.
Not that.
Sorry. Yeah, correct. Tula. Rishabha and the
Tula.
Tula.
Correct, right? So, give me a second, how I can arrange this. Yeah, I have. Okay. Rishabha and the Tula. Now, okay, come on.
सुनिए तेरे पास तो गाड़ी भी नहीं है मैं छोड़ आती हूँ फिर
Okay. There is now find out the beach house it is. This is the
यार वो
12th
अंशिका ने कहा था मेरे डब्बे भी दीदी के साथ भिजवा देना
Vanita, can you mute everyone, please?
Yeah, I'm trying. Give me a second. Yeah, I did. If you want to unmute, please unmute yourself whenever you want to speak. Okay. Now the Venus was in the which houses? 12th house. And which house is this? This is the 5th house. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So in the ascendant, there are the three grahas in it. One is the Sun, Mercury, and the Venus. Sun is the owner of the third house. Mercury is the Lagnadipati itself, additionally, fourth house owner. Then the Venus is the 12th house as well as the 5th house owner. So in the 12th house, Jupiter was placed in it. 5th house, there was no graha. So then, this is about the Lagna. When you are having this much of the information in your hand, what else you can analyze from here? Mithuna Rasi is the what kind of the Rasi? Charastira Upaya? Which one it is?
Ubhaya Rasi.
Ubhaya.
Ubhaya Rasi. So Ubhaya, I write in Tamil. Oh, wait a second. It's a dual in nature.
Dual.
So these peoples are not in the, may not be very much stubborn, may not be the adamant, but don't conclude at this moment. What is the element of this house?
Air.
Air is the element. So still don't conclude that. Mithuna Rasi, air is the element, dual in nature, 3 grahas was present. We understand which one it is. 3rd house, 4th house, 5th house, 12th house owner sitting in the same location. That means Lagnadipati is also in the Lagna, and the 3rd house, 4th house, 5th house, 12th house owner is also present in the Lagna itself. Here, interestingly, you have to find out this one have the Digbala or not. You remember the Digbala? Jupiter and the Mercury, if it is present in the 1st house, the Digbala was high. Yes or no? No?
Yes.
Okay. Then the ascendant was having the auspicious. Okay, now coming to the one more thing. Here is an interesting point. Sun, Mercury, and the Venus. Venus is an auspicious planet. Sun is the malefic planet. Mercury is the in between these two, not malefic, not benefic. But Mercury is in between one benefic planet, one malefic planet. Then how we can conclude the Mercury is on which side? Okay, then go through the degree first. We have to understand the Sun, we have to understand the Mercury, and we have to understand the Venus. So Venus was in the 4 degree, Mercury was in the 3 degree, Moon, oh sorry, which one it is? Sun was in the 1 degree. Really? How come it was not combust? Give me a
Will-
second.
So the
It
sun
will-
will combust both of them, no?
Both of them, yeah. Now now here is an interesting one. The sun, if the sun was combust both, let me make sure it was combust or give me 1 second.
But Venus is the enemy also, but still it will combust.
No, it never mind. The sun won't mind about
Oh.
whether enemy or the friend.
Anyway, but it will combust its property.
Whoever comes nearest to him,
He'll burn it.
yeah. But here the ascendant, the Lagnadipati is also combust. The Venus is also combust. So what will happen? The
Power is
child,
reduced.
yeah, because this was the auspicious graha, which is Venus, that auspicious will be completely taken away. And the Mercury, who's the owner, the Lagnadipati is the Mercury. He's also combust. The Mercury is also combust. The quality of the Mercury, the auspiciousness of the Mercury is also will be reduced. Then who will dominate here? Sun will
Sun.
be dominant.
Sun
So
will
if the
dominate.
Sun is the 3rd house owner, there was no graha present in it. Let me any of
how much
us.
degrees is required to combust?
The
How
degree
much
is there.
required to
The
combust?
degree I will show you in the chart itself.
No,
Remember
degree is there, but how close is required?
how? Some of the
How
astrologers,
close is it required? Like even
every graha will have the different degree range. But some of the astrologers was interestingly saying one thing. If any of the grahas which is come closer to 45, then they definitely consider it as the combust. I just muted everyone. How come?
so
The degrees also I mentioned in the chart in the table itself. So once you remember the table, it's really easy for you. But you no need to remember that also. Jagannath Hora was not mentioning which graha was combust. But in the other softwares, when you are seeing, it will exactly show you which graha was combust. Okay, this is what I want to tell you. Once the Lagna was understood, so at this moment we understand Lagna was dominated by the sun only. So the person which is born on this time, the sun's energy was really high for this person. So how we can conclude at this moment? Don't worry about whether you have the greater knowledge or not. At this moment, we understand dual in nature. Air element was present. The child when it was born, the lagna was 3 grahas, but 2 grahas was combusted. One, the sun is also present. What you can see? What you can tell at this moment? And
Only
interestingly, the child was born on Sunday. I mean, when this June 16th, Sunday. Sun's energy is really high. He will be a very good dreamer. Why? The sun is the very good dreamer. When the sun's characteristics was prominent on any of the individual, they're very good daydreamers. They know what they want to achieve. Their leadership will be high. They exhibit knowledge in such a way that they can be able to control or they can conquer other peoples. They want to rule the nation. They want to rule the people. It will be in their mind all the time. Okay, now this is the point you have to remember. So you still at this moment also you can't be able to conclude. Why? We didn't even see the aspect. We didn't see which graha was in the strength, which degree was strength, which graha was in the weakened position. So at this moment also you keep that in mind. When you are go through the Jataka, everything will be clarified step by step. Okay, at this point we understand this much. So then the second one, see the Rasi first, where the moon is. Where the moon is?
moon is in the
Kanya.
Kanya
Kanni
Rasi.
Rasi. So this child was born under Kanni Rasi. So when the Kanni Rasi means who's the owner of this house? Mercury.
Mercury.
The Mercury is combusted, so that is also taken into account. Then moon is along with which graha? Ketu. Okay, when comes into here, okay, now you have to combine this both. Because this one you have to mention about the mind of the person, the mind of the Jataka. This is the self. This is the, when you are seeing about the Lagna represent exactly you, how the general characteristics of the person, how the futures will look like. That will be represented in the, whether he is in a slim figure, whether he is in a fat, whether he was in a good futures in it. Everything will be defined in the Lagna itself. But when it comes into the moon, it represents your mind. Okay, when this one, he already in the dual and nature, the moon, okay, what is this element?
Earth.
Which element it is?
Earth, no?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't hear your voice. The earth element. And beautiful. And this is the Charastira Ubaya. Which Rasi it will come?
Ubaya.
Ubaya Rasi.
Beautiful.
Now this is the beautiful one to analyze. Here, Ketu and the moon. When the Ketu along with the moon is combined together, they switch their mind one or the other way. They're not able to stable at one point. Their decision-making process is really trouble for them only, not for others. They can give number of advice to a number of people. It will be work out for everybody. But when comes into for them, when they try to decide anything, they can't able to decide. Why? Because the dual and nature was coming. And the one thing here it was helpful was the earth element. Even though they are tough in the decision making, but this earth element will help them to stay in the ground.
Be grounded.
Because the Lagna is also dual, the Rashi which is also in the dual in nature. And this element will help them to stay in the ground all the time, even though they are the good dreamer. And here the Ketu and moon is also switch their mind frequently. For example, when they are doing any of the action, some of the things goes in their mind all the time. Okay. Once you find these two, now we'll move into where the sun was present. We already know sun is in the Lagna. So once
Vanita,
you,
one
yeah,
question here. Here, the moon is aspected by Rahu, as well as there is an aspect of Jupiter also, the fifth aspect. Won't that also matter here? Shouldn't we be taking that also into effect?
Definitely matters. See, wherever the Ketu was there, right? You implicitly the Rahu will definitely aspect the, because why?
Because
The
they're
Ketu
opposite, yeah. They're
always
180,
in the
180.
opposite. When you are defining about the Ketu, you have to be keep that in mind, Rahu also, because definitely Rahu is also aspecting you.
And also Guru from the 12th house.
Yeah, Guru from the 12th house.
Fifth
Why
aspect of Guru from 12th house.
I coming into that point? Yeah. When the Guru was present in the 12th house, the aspect of auspiciousness of the Guru will be tremendously reduced. Here it will, even though it was in the 12th house, anyway, this is an auspicious Graha, it will give you the auspiciousness. But when the Graha, which is not in the hidden houses, what are they? Those turn 6, 8, and 12. When the Jupiter was present in these houses, the auspiciousness will be at least 20% will be reduced. You will get 75% more. But if it was present in any other houses, not in the 6, 8, and 12, any other houses, the auspiciousness will be high. When it was aspected by the Jupiter, you will get the real benefit. But even then, this Jupiter was aspecting the moon, they will make good decision. Even though a number of decision in front of them, they will pick the good one. Why? The Jupiter was present in them. They won't make the bad decision. But it may be that tough for them, but they will pick the very good one because of the auspiciousness Graha.
But
Oh.
with Rahu aspect, can we say that these people can be manipulative?
Manipulative also, but the Ketu was sitting next to him, right? And the Jupiter is also aspecting. They can't easily be manipulative. They will hear all the words. They will hear a number of people words, but their decision, it's their hand only, because the auspicious Graha was seeing, and these people will only listen what they decided, what they think it is good for them.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Vanita, I think Ketu is in Karaka, no? Fourth house.
What is that? Your voice was breaking. Fourth house, what is that?
Marana Karaka, is it?
Yes, absolutely. Maranaga. I'm coming to that point. Exactly. Maranakaraka. That's why the toughness was there. And this is the Maranakaraka for this Lagna, for this Jataka. And it is going to give you an obstacle at that house significance only. Okay, what is this fourth house significance? What is the
Mother, fourth house.
mother, land,
Yes.
Property, vehicle.
vehicle?
Food.
These four things are enough. Okay. The obstacles will definitely will
இல்ல
come.
நீங்க ராத்திரி அதுல போட மாட்டேங்கிறீங்க அதுதான் ப்ராப்ளம் அது டெய்லி போட்டுடணும் அது ராத்திரி படுக்கறச்சே
Switch off the mics, please.
Wait a second. I mute everybody, but I don't know how. Okay.
See, they unmute themselves and they forget to mute themselves back. So that's what is happening.
Oh, okay. What is the question here? Oh, I forgot the question also. What is that?
We were talking about the fourth house.
Marana Karaka, fourth house.
Okay, when it comes into the Maranakaraka, it will give you exactly in the number of obstacles at the particular house also. When you are, what is the fourth house? It's your land, property, your mother. So this will give you the obstacles, that particular house significance. Anyway, it will going to give you the obstacles in different ways. But when you dig down and deeply and find out an answer, it will definitely give you the number of obstacles belongs to the significance of that particular house only. Okay. Okay. Then the third point you have to see what is the sun, where the sun was placed. Why you have to see this? We have to understand whether the sun was in the good position or not. Sun is already in the good position only because the sun is in the neuter house. It's Mercury is not a friend, Mercury is not an enemy. Sun is in the Lagna itself. Okay, then we have to see about the Badhakastha. Okay, now it comes into the
Vanita, I have a question.
Hmm.
The previous chart that we were viewing, the fourth house, the moon is present in the fourth house. That also that is also the Dikpala Sthan for moon, right?
Exactly. Absolutely, yes. Dikbalasthana, yes. Okay, here is the point. When the moon was, okay, there are the various components you have to consider here. And the Dikbala was coming, but only one thing is the good here. What are the other thing was bad? Mercury was combusted. The moon was placed in the Mercury's house. It lose the energy of the owner. And the Mercury, even though it having the Dikbala, but it's sitting along with the Ketu, which is the malefic graha. So the moon is going to give you the malefic effect only. But when the Ketu and the moon combined, when there is also one more thing, even though it's having a Dikbala, but when it was associated with one more graha in it, that two moon, it combined with the malefic graha, it will going to project to you most of the malefic effect only. Okay, when I say the malefic and benefic energy don't comes into the good or the bad conclusion, malefic means it will give you most kind of the tough situation in your life. Okay, absolutely, that's a wonderful observation. Yes, that's then the big one. When comes into now comes into the Pathagastha. Okay, which lagna this Jataka was born?
Mithuna.
Okay, Mithuna is the Charastira Upaya.
Ubhaya. So 7th house is the
Upaya
Bath.
means 7th house is the Pathagastha. Can you see where it is? 7th house is the Bathakastha. So when, okay, there was one more thing you have to consider. I forgot that. Yeah. 7th house is the Bathakastha. Who is in the 7th house?
Vrishchika,
Who's the
Mars.
owner of any graha was present?
Mars.
Oh, how Mars?
No.
7th
If
house.
you are in Mithuna,
Mithuna.
which house is the 7th house?
Dhanur.
Oh,
Dhanush
sorry.
only, right?
Jupiter.
Okay. So the Bathakasthana is the 7th house, which is the Dhanush. Who's the owner? There was no graha present in it, so we don't need to
Jupiter.
consider the grahas. We have to consider the owner. Who's the owner?
Jupiter.
Where the Jupiter was present?
12th Lord. Rishabha.
Here it will give you the benefit. Why? The 7th house, it's the Bathakasthana for you. The owner, there was no graha in it, so we don't need to consider that. But the owner is present in the 12th house. So the Bathakasthana, where effect will be at least 50% will be reduced. You will get the demerit, you will get the bad effect, the Bathakasthana, whatever the things it is going to give you, it will give you very less comparatively when it was in the, when the owner was in the good place. So now you are in a good position. Okay, now this is the end of this? No. You have to see what are the aspecting, any other aspect of the graha was coming into the 7th house. Okay, now here is an interesting thing. What are the aspects which is coming into the 7th house? Sun, Mercury, and the Venus. So Venus and the Mercury and the Sun. Is there any other grahas aspect was coming into here? 7th house?
No.
Rahu, Mars. Jupiter? No?
No.
No. Okay. Then that we are still good with this. Then we have to move into the another one. Second,
Question.
okay, now it's coming into the Marana Karagasthana, which we already found out. Sorry. Oh, Sun is in the 12th house. Okay, now we'll see what is there any Marana Karakasthana for that. planet. Sun is in the 12th house? No. Sun is in the Lagna. Moon is in the 8th house? No. Moon is in the 4th house. Mars is in the 7th house? No. There was no Graha in the 7th house. Mercury in the 4th house? No. Mercury is in the Lagna. Jupiter in the 3rd house? No. Jupiter is in the 12th house. Venus in the 6th house? No. Venus in the Lagna. Saturn in the 1st house? No. Ketu in the 4th house?
Yes.
Rahu in the 9th house? No. Correct? Now, Rahu was in the 10th house. What is it?
I just want to know how Jupiter nullifies the effect of Badaka.
Okay. We found out that the 7th house is the Bhatak. This much you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who's the owner? 7th
That is
house is the
Jupiter.
Dhanush. Jupiter, right? Where the Jupiter was present?
12th house. That's
Okay.
one.
Which
2,
house
3,
is
4,
considered
5,
as the Dushtana? 6, 8 and 12.
12.
So this is all the peripheral energy you will get. You will get the least amount of the energy entering into the Jataka's energy body. So when comes into the 12, the energy which you receive will be very much reduced. In that place, Jupiter was present. So when the owner was present in the hidden houses, that is in the Dosthana, the Bhatakasthana effect will be reduced. This point will be understandable or easy to understand.
Can you repeat one more time?
Okay. First thing, you have to find out the 7. Because of the Upaya Rasi, 7th house becomes the Bhatakasthana. The first point is clear, right? So we come here. We see, understand which is the Rasi. This is the Dhanu Rashi. Who's the owner for this Dhanu?
Jupiter.
Then you have to find out in this Rasi Chakra where the Dhanu was present. Where the Jupiter was present.
That's 12th
Jupiter
house.
Present in the 12th house. So that means Jupiter was in the hidden house.
Yeah.
Whatever the Bhataka, which is you going to received by the Jataka, will be now tremendously reduced because the owner was present. The Bhataka Sthana owner was present in the hidden houses. This much clear?
Yeah. Okay. If it was in the 5th house, what would happen?
Well, Vanitha?
No, like for
you
11th
will
house.
get the exact. Okay, if it was in the 11th house, consider the Jupiter. One second. Come back to you. If it is consider the Jupiter was present in the 11th house, you will have the exact Bhatakasthana. In the effect will be exactly you will receive.
Okay.
What the Bhatakasthana will do? That is the house of the obstacle, right? It will give you the obstacle in every way. It means. Definitely. See how the Jupiter was expecting give you the 100% auspiciousness. What is the 100% auspiciousness? I will tell you. Okay, it will give you auspiciousness. It will reduce auspiciousness. What is that meaning? It when you dig down into narrow down into an action. For example, when you are making a decision, if it was expected by the Guru, then you will make the decision properly. Consider you are in a position that the decision making is really tough for you. But you definitely will, if that was the Bhatakasthana was in 100% effect, you will definitely pick a bad decision only. Okay, when the Bhatakasthana was in a good effect, when it was in a good motion, you will friends with the very bad peoples only. You accompanied by the bad peoples only. You ended up with in a bad situation. That bad situation means what I'm trying to say. It is difficult for you. It will be difficult for you to survive. It won't kill you, but it will give you that kind of the pain in you. Is that clear?
Vanitha?
Vanitha? Yeah.
Just I want one question. You just now narrated the places, the planets where the Markasthana, correct? That is the native. That is the chart at the time of the birth of the chart. This is the planets. Now you tell me that when will it have effect of that Marakasthana? You told me when, what period? That we have to see.
Okay. Now it comes into the dasha. When the for this person, Jupiter is, no, Ketu is the Maranakarakas, right?
Yeah.
When the Ketu period was coming, mostly this is the Maranakaraka means whichever the Ketu was aspecting, that houses will have the kind of demerit, kind of little bit inauspiciousness to them. But when the Ketu Dasha was happening, particularly Ketu Buddhi was happening, you will have a tremendous obstacles in your life. The Maranakaraka Sthana will get real effect when the Dasha Buddhi was happening, when your Ketu Dasha was happening. But more than the Ketu Dasha, Ketu Buddhi was happening, it will go, it will ride you in a greater effect.
That means Ketu Dasha, Ketu Bhukti is very bad. We can conclude that it is a Ketu Dasha, Ketu Bhukti.
Okay, now, okay, there is one more point I have to be add here. But you can't blindly say Ketu Dasha, Ketu Buddhi will be bad for me, because the Dasha period will go for 7 years if I'm not wrong. But in that, the Buddhi will be divided into all grahas. Ketu along with the Sun Buddhi will come, Moon Buddhi will come, Mars Buddhi will come, Jupiter Buddhi will come.
Yeah.
Among in that, whichever, okay, now the Shadbala will help you. One second, I will show you why the Shadbala will. Okay, see, in the Shadbala strength, the Sun was acquiring the higher strength. Then the least one will be the Jupiter, least one will be the Saturn and the Jupiter. So when the Ketu Dasha was happening, when it combined with the Sun, it will give you the good effect. It will even Moon good, Mars good, Mercury good. When combined with the Jupiter, Venus and the Saturn, maybe it will give you reduce the effect. When particularly when the Ketu Dasha was happening, Ketu Buddhi was happening, you will see the real action.
Okay.
Because both the Ketu was your Maranakaraka. When the Dasha and Buddhi happening at the same time, you will have the real thing happening in your life. Real thing means that kind of the struggle you will face.
Obstacles, hardship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then once this one was understood, until here you can able to see in your chart, right? Okay. Then importantly, the fifth point is you have to find out what are the grahas aspecting which one. I leave it to you as a homework. This is in this among the 5 points. You have any doubt on this? Okay, fifth is the Maranakaraka, I forgot. Wait.
Vinita, can we do another class like this with a chart and discussions?
Yeah, we'll do that frequently, definitely. But till now, at this point, you have any doubt? But definitely we'll go through this again and again in number of times. So don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
At this moment, you have to be understand about the grahas completely. At least not completely means you have to understand Sun is for the father, Venus is for if it was a male for spouse for the female, and the Mercury is for the education, and the Ketu is for the kind of a knowledge. Moon is the mind. Saturn is your how you are going to work. If the Saturn was in a good position, and the Gocharam is also showing the Saturn in a good position, you will definitely have a work at place. Rahu. And Rahu, if the Rahu was in exalted position in your chart, yeah, definitely you will work in the illusion kind of an industry. What is that? Cinema industry. You will create an animation. Experiment, you go and see any of the people who work in the cinema, particularly in animation field. Check them. Definitely, their Rahu will be in a good position. And the Mars, for a female, Mars you have to see to look about the spouse, and the Jupiter for the kids. So this all the things you have to be keep that in your mind. It should be running in your mind all the time when you see the Jataka. Anyway, next classes will be about the first house, second house, third house, what it will be. We will go through one by one. That point in time, we'll see n number of the charts. Okay. But this point you have to be remember whenever you see the chart. Until here you are clear?
Okay.
Yes. Can we discuss one chart every class? It will really help us.
Definitely, we will do that. Okay. And next week there won't be the class. Let me check with chairman if he can able to take it. Otherwise, the next week can be a holiday for all of us. After that, we will continue our class.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, sure, Vanita. Yes.
Okay, then we'll see you all
Thank
next
you.
to next
Thank
week.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
Vanita. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Anita.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, Vanita.